Dude, this is the most dumb engagement with this topic too. Any examples? I'd love to hear them, Nux. I'd love to, please. I would love to hear what Andrew Tate says 70% of the time that is actually really intelligent. Imagine if it had been the other way. Imagine how much we would be hearing about it. That's the image they want you to have in your head. This guy is like actually 50 IQ. Shut up, man. You're so dumb.
They don't even investigate this. What is even going on?
Yes, they do. Yeah, you have no idea what's going on because you've done zero research. Information is good if it's actually true. Bro, we might watch this tomorrow as well. I can't, but there's no way, dude.
Non-British.
Why is there a NuxTaku video about Muslim grooming gangs? It's crazy. What the do you have to... He's jealous, very true. What the could you possibly add to the discussion about Muslim grooming gangs? Seriously. What knowledge do you have on this? I mean, other than... No, he probably knows a lot about kids.
British people and unfortunately British people, welcome to a brand new video. England is cooked and I am here to save it. All right, that was extreme. That was crazy. Obviously, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna point and laugh at idiots. I'm gonna make fun of morons. I'm gonna take a nice big chaotic situation and put a smile on your faces at the expense of poor English people. But yeah, English people L, massive British W. It happens, but hopefully this L could turn into a W, because honestly, 2 L's make a W. Listen, I don't mean to break out my pencils here, but I'll be real here. Listen, England, this is yourself with your trauma. Anywho, Andrew Tate is running for the United Kingdom Prime Minister. So that's how dire the situation is, okay? Because that guy's
shut the up.
Elon Musk had a conversation 2 months ago where he said something very interesting. Now, this is going to be relevant very soon.
In Britain, I kid you not, how can this be real? They are releasing convicted pedophiles from prison in order to put people in prison for Facebook posts.
Now, when you hear something like this, you're thinking, oh...
Dude, that's such a retarded misrepresentation. Oh my god. Yet there are people who have already served a significant amount of their sentence that are being released from prison because our prisons don't have any space for new prisoners who have not served any of their sentence yet, who will also not serve their full sentence, to be released after part of it is served, because there's no space in the prisons.
Elon Musk, you're just yapping. You just talking out yo asshole. You're just with another country's political powers because you with America country's political powers. You've managed to get involved, all right, listen, and now you're trying to assert dominance on another country. Elon Musk, you don't know what you're... He knew what he was talking about. He knew what he was talking about a little too well.
There were, and this is I'm simply stating a fact, there were migrant rape gangs in England that were gangs that would run around and prey on...
Like, and this is such a stupid framing too. This is literally just so retarded. So retarded. There's these Muslim rape gangs that just run around and rape people. No. They more affected, disproportionately, girls in their own communities and girls in foster care. It's not just, they're not just coming over, running around the streets and picking up English kids. That's not what's happening. They disproportionately affect kids in foster care and Muslim girls. Because it's not just an invading force like they want to pretend, invading, like raping and pillaging force that's coming in. It's like a systemic cultural issue that mostly affects the people that are close to them or easy to target.
And young girls, gang rape them, and some people found that objectionable.
Found that objectionable? Bro! Yeah, there are people out there, they're raping women. Yeah, some people thought that was
this is the most
cool.
Dumb engagement with this topic too. Acting like the way Elon's framing this is in any way legit. Obviously, yeah, everyone found it objectionable. Everyone finds it objectionable. But the people that Elon is describing as the people who found it objectionable are people who run with retarded conspiracy theories and try to act like it is the way that I just said it wasn't, as if it's some invading force that's coming for English kids. Everyone finds rape gangs objectionable, other than maybe people in rape gangs. Obviously.
What?
Obviously, it should be objectionable, and they were upset about that, and so they...
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like fucking England itself is immune from problems anyway, given there was that whole Church of England scandal, like, what, 2 months ago?
Complained about it online, and were sent to prison.
Is that not the most clown world shit you've ever heard in your life? Is that not the most clown world thing potentially of all time? Like, dude.
Wow, high level engagement with this, Nux. Is this not so clown world? Is this not so clown world? It's so funny, man. I'm so glad that Mutahar lives a life of fucking misery where he can't go on the internet because every single person is being just despicably racist towards him. And all of his friends are sitting around being silent. Because it is this exact retarded thinking, just the buying into the dumb right-wing memes on social media that leads Nux to make videos like this and leads people to abuse Indians online. So I'm so fucking glad that that guy is just suffering the brunt of, sir, please, sir, do not redeem, sir. I'm so fucking glad that he's just in misery, crying to his white wife.
Dude, think about this for a second, okay? Rapists are being released from prisons to fill those spots with...
He hangs out with fucking Wendigoon, who just lies about historical events in his videos to spin conspiracy theories. Hangs out with Umpiville, who sits there and makes slop videos while, you know, hiding his obvious actual beliefs. Hangs out with Nux, who just engages in some of the most disgusting grifting I've ever seen. I'm not even someone who's like always crying about the right-wing grift, but this is the clearest example of it. Trying to avoid taking a stance as much as possible while playing to that side. Never having a real opinion. It's fucking wretched.
People that make posts online. Now, unfortunately, and as scary as this is, this was actually not inaccurate. It's been proven just...
Wendigoon completely faked the existence of a tree in the MLK assassination video to try and blame the FBI. And that is frequent in pretty much all of his videos. He just tries to spin as much as possible, as much as he can, into an anti-government narrative. There's like, you can go out and look, there are a bunch of debunking videos on Wendigoon shit, because he's just a unconscionable liar. Like, insanely so.
Over the last day or so that he was actually kind of right about these things. Now, of course, there are conspiracy theories that the only reason why he's bringing this up is because he's getting a lot of fire because of his takes on immigration. There's this current civil war among the right-wing people in the United States. Literally, on the United States, you got, okay, next we need real context. I'll give it to you, don't worry. Yeah, there's been this whole massive debate about immigrants and whether you should have immigrants that need special visas or immigrants that are skilled should be brought in. I don't give a fuck, okay? This is not the discussion we're having right here. There are a lot of people that are making this whole conspiracy theory that the reason why Elon Musk is exposing these rape gangs in Britain is to obfuscate from the current situation that he's in and the awkward conversation about his current drama. Not that I want to know about the rape gangs. Oh, you'll see. I will show you the sauce, don't you worry. But anyway, it's gotten so bad that Andrew Tate, alleged sex trafficker and confessed pedophile pimp, basically, allegedly, in my opinion, said, the UK lost itself. Every problem the UK is facing stems from one root issue. You can't protect something you don't recognize. You can't feel pride for something foreign. A country that lost its identity isn't a country. The UK will stand for something. It used to be British. Men were proud to be British. Men would die to protect Britain. The UK was a small island filled with inspired, proud, young, brave young men who do anything for the kingdom. The day of the UK sacrificed its own traditions and demonized its own heroes is when it began to decline. Men are immobilized, though. Pride and love. Men make a country. Men cannot love something they don't know. They won't die for a random stranger they cannot recognize. You're probably wondering where he's going with all of this. Men do not sacrifice for a woman.
Yeah, Tate is a Muslim groomer. A Muslim groomer rapist, yes. A Muslim groomer, sex trafficker rapist. Crying about this. Crying about grooming gangs.
Completely different for when they are married. For Britain to reverse its decay. For Britain to return an island of wealth, prosperity, safety, and innovation. Britain must find itself again. Britain must become Britain again. And that is why when I become Prime Minister, will accomplish. Read my full plan. And he made a manifesto! Listen, one could argue Tate is just full grifting. And of course you got Mike Munchlax in the comments, prepared to suck another dong. Absolute legend. He's everywhere. Bro took a break from some Logan Paul semen to come suck off this man instead. This is crazy. He made a manifesto, make Britain again or whatever the fuck. And he's actually running for prime minister. Now, I hope he doesn't win, but if he does,
yeah, I'm sure he's actually going to run for prime minister. Yeah, I'm sure it's actually going to happen. Yeah, that's totally going to happen, Nux. It's not just a fucking tweet.
It would be a rude awakening. I like when the pendulum swings. I am hoping the pendulum doesn't swing that much. All right, listen. The crazy thing is, Andrew Tate actually says very intelligent things about 70% of the time. The other 30% of the time is fucking swing that much. All right, listen. The crazy thing is, Andrew Tate actually says very intelligent things about 70% of the time.
Any examples? I'd love to hear him, Nux. I'd love to. Please, I would love to hear what Andrew Tate says 70% of the time that is actually really intelligent. I would love to hear, Nux. Please, I would love to hear some examples.
The other 30% of the time is fucking atrocious. Yeah, this is something that's happening. So this guy over here, Paul Joseph Watson, I don't know who he is, but someone recommended me watch this video. Apparently he made a video breaking down the statistics of all this shit. I think I recognize him from like some InfoWars thing. But anywho, just here for the statistics, because he's gonna break down a lot of things, and then I want to get into the absolute downfall of England.
What? The level we're at, where he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna uncritically play you some Paul Joseph Watson. Another alleged rapist, by the way. Alleged rapist, I'll say.
InfoWars thing. But anywho, just here for the statistics, because he's gonna break down a lot of things, and then I want to get into the absolute downfall of England. And exactly the drama that Elon Musk found himself in. People are saying that Elon Musk is trying to sneak his way into other countries and smuggle his way into controlling more people and buying more governments. And, but he accidentally, literally exposed this entire fucking rape gang ring in England.
What?
And of course, if you, I think these rape gangs.
Wait, Paul Joseph Watson exposed the rape, what?
Other countries. They're saying that the downfall of England. And exactly the drama that Elon Musk found himself in. People are saying that Elon Musk
Elon Musk exposed it. Elon Musk didn't expose it. What the fuck are you talking about? This is the reason Elon Musk knows about it is because it was revealed that there were issues in the policing and stuff was covered up, and that their fuck-ups were totally covered up. That's why Elon Musk knows about it. Because it was already exposed years ago.
He's trying to sneak his way into other countries and smuggle his way into controlling more people and buying more governments. And but he accidentally, literally exposed this entire fucking rape gang ring in England. And of course, if you I think these rape gangs are like, they're immigrants, and if you call them out, they call you racist, which sounds retarded. So let's see what it's all about.
It took an eternity, but the truth
is
finally...
that's exactly what happens. Yeah, it's just if you just say that grooming gangs exist, you get called racist. Yeah, that's totally how it works, man. Yeah, for real. It's not when people spin retarded narratives that try to paint it as an invading force that's just ransacking and raping little white English kids. It's not those people that call racist. It's just anyone that mentions that it's happened ever.
Being revealed. The true cost of what mass migration has inflicted on the UK. Official statistics: foreigners living in the UK are 3.5 times more likely to be arrested for sexual offences than British citizens.
Oh, God! That's a crazy number. Okay, I knew he'd have stats in here, but oh my God! 3 times as likely to be arrested for sex offenses as British citizens?
Yeah, now do black people.
Yikes, dude. And the government's protecting them. Of course the government's protecting them, because you're racist if you say a statistic.
That's odd, because all the campaigns highlighting the issue of sexual harassment look like this.
Sweetheart, you what? Ain't no way all the sexual harassment campaigns that they release in England are white guys sexually harassing women. Ah!
You alright, yeah? Oi, look at the body on that.
And for all...
Look at the body on that, bro. British sexual predators literally need to get better at what they're doing, bro. Look at the body on that. Might be the worst catcall of all time. I'm just saying. Holy shit.
All crimes, foreign nationals were arrested at twice the rate of British citizens. The top arrest rates by nationality. Soaring in at #1 is Albania, a country starved of genuine achievements, but this is probably not the title they'd wished for.
Yeah, no, Guinness Book World Records slept with 1,000 men in one day. Second place, Albania.
And this has everything to do with nationality and absolutely nothing to do with the circumstance, okay, guys? It's all genetic, remember? Okay, just think about the nationality and don't evaluate it under any other terms. All right? Paul Joseph Watson is delivering you some truth. Okay, you have to only think about this in terms of nationality, and there are no other variables to factor in that could determine why certain groups of people are more likely to commit crime than others.
Sex crimes. Let's go!
And then Afghanistan, Iraq.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Holy shit! Albania, Afghanistan, Iraq, Algeria, Congo, Morocco, Somalia. How did this get there? Oh my god.
What?
Iraq, Algeria, Congo, Morocco, Somalia, Eritrea, Iran. All reinforcing the maxim that diversity is indeed our greatest strength.
Diversity is pretty great, I would say. I would argue that it's important to not be racist, but I would also argue that it's important that if there's a fucking rape gang, you gotta fucking expose that shit. Excuse me?
Wow, great commentary, Nux. Seriously. Great addition to the discourse, Nux. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't forget, these figures don't even...
Like, women's rights only matter until you accidentally end up becoming racist. Once you accidentally become racist, then it becomes women's wrongs.
include migrant background individuals. You include those and the numbers are likely to be bordering on catastrophic. 48 nationalities living in the UK have a higher arrest rate than British citizens.
What? What are these stats? While foreigners make up 9% of the population, they accounted for...
The people themselves are also fucked up. Poor doesn't equal rape. Yeah, but Albanians aren't doing... Well, probably to some extent. But the Albanians aren't known for rape gangs. Albanians are doing, like, organized crime, drug dealing. Like, that's the shit Albanians are getting arrested for. That's why they're right at the top.
16% of the number of arrests. Oh my god! The Crime League table places Albanians as the nationality most likely to be arrested, followed by Afghans, Iraqis, Algerians, Somalians. There were 48 nationalities. That is fucking insane.
Higher arrest.
I assume you know about Tommy C's little Kick channel he's been streaming more on. Talking about not feeling well enough for the main channel, 4 hours of sleep in 48 hours, but streaming on Kick. Okay, interesting.
Rate than British citizens. And when you focus on certain regions, the situation is even more alarming. In Greater London, 39.2% of sex crime arrests are foreign nationals.
Oh my god, dude. This is why, I guess a country kind of needs borders. This is why people actually need to be careful when they...
As an Englishman, I want to reach out and thank Lolicon Lord NuxTaku for his take on sex crime.
Immigrate people, I guess. Question mark, maybe, but holy shit.
In the West Midlands, it's 38.8%. In Derbyshire, it's 44.8%.
Ringleaders of Derby sex abuse grooming gang jailed. Dude, what the fuck is this title? Derby sex abuse grooming gang?
And in the City of London, it's a whopping...
What do you mean, what is this title? What?
66.
Yeah, the grooming stuff is real, chat. I know. We got some anti-Elon Musk people out here, for sure, for real. Man's definitely an interesting gooner out here on the internet, but he literally exposed this. Like, he's literally talking about
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
This. And to all the people that are arguing that, hey guys, the only reason why he's saying all this is because he's trying to get the fire away from his buttocks in regards to the whole MAGA immigration debate. I don't give a fuck. He's exposing pedophiles.
Dude, I hope it's becoming very clear to you guys why I cannot fucking stand this shit. What? They all do this. This is the most scumfuck, dishonest, just morally bankrupt, seriously fucked, rancid thing that these fucks do, man. All of these fucking YouTubers do shit. Everything is justified if you say you're exposing pedophiles. It's just an easy get out of jail free. I don't want to explain myself anymore. I'm exposing pedophiles. I don't want to be questioned on this. It's exposing pedophiles. Something drastic has to be fucking done, man. These people cannot get away with saying this endlessly. They literally nothing learned from the Mama Max shit.
Maybe, but holy shit.
In the West Midlands, it's 38.8%. In Derbyshire, it's 44.8%.
Ringleaders of Derby sex abuse grooming gang jailed. Dude, what the fuck is this title? Derby sex abuse grooming gang?
And in the City of London, it's a whopping 66.
Yeah, the grooming stuff is real, chat. I know. We got some anti-Elon Musk people out here, for sure, for real. Man's definitely an interesting gooner out here on the internet.
Dude, this guy is actual fucking filth, man. It's crazy.
Like, he's literally talking about this. And to all the people that are arguing that... hey guys, the only reason why he's saying all this is because he's trying to get the fire away from his buttocks in regards to the whole MAGA immigration debate. I don't give a fuck. He's exposing pedophiles. He's exposing rapists. Like, yeah, okay, all right. You can argue with him about immigration or whatever the fuck you want. But, bro,
6.9%. More than 2/3 of arrests for sexual offences are foreign nationals. And these numbers are only going to get worse.
All right, what's the actual politicians in England saying about this? Are they saying you're not allowed to talk about this because you're racist?
We import close to 1 million migrants.
They're not talking about it because it's an old issue. There were problems in policing. There was, what is it? The one thing that happened was they pushed for a vote in Oldham to do an inquest into historic sex offence cases, but Keir Starmer was like, "Why? Basically, what is the point? What are we hoping to achieve from this?" Like, yeah, there have been problems, but there were inquests already. Are we just doing like endless inquests in every fucking county, just looking at how many Muslims raped people between these years? And the Conservatives are pumping it up, even though literally they were in power when the last set of inquests and shit were done on this, and implemented none of the recommendations. Yeah, it took forever for us to have like a national police database and shit where they could actually track offenders. And the Conservatives are totally like jumping on it now, but did nothing for 10, 15 years. Had all the time, all the power to do anything they wanted, and did nothing. Nux sounds just like Jay Stalk whenever he's covering father. That's not fair. It was not just Jess Webster. No, I'm pretty sure Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, older. Why not? Well, he called it a far-right bandwagon. I don't know if he actually has a say in denying anything. But yeah, he called it a far-right bandwagon. Let's read this BBC article. That's still a little bit better than Nux playing Paul Joseph Watson videos. Let's figure out what's been going on a little bit. Prime Minister has attacked politicians and activists spreading lies and misinformation over grooming gangs. Comes after multi-billionaire Elon Musk accused Sir Keir Starmer of being complicit in the rape of Britain during his tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, between 2008 and 2013, failing to tackle grooming gangs. Alongside Musk's comments, senior Conservatives and Reform UK MPs have also spent the week calling for a national inquiry into child exploitation. Sir Keir accused opposition MPs of jumping on a bandwagon and amplifying what the far right is saying to gain attention. Sir Keir said Labour's addressing child sexual abuse after Conservative inaction for 14 long years. Online debate around grooming gangs had now crossed the line, resulting in threats against MPs, including Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips, he said. We've seen this playbook many times, whipping up of intimidation and of threats of violence, hoping the media will amplify it. Those who are spreading lies and misinformation as far and wide as possible are not interested in the victims, they're only interested in themselves, he said. Debate around grooming gangs was reignited this week after it was reported that Phillips rejected Oldham Council's request for a government-led inquiry into historical child sexual exploitation, fuck me, in the town in favour of a locally led investigation. Okay, well, what's the problem? They're still doing a fucking investigation. It's just not a government one, it's local. So they're not spending a bunch more money than they need to doing a government investigation, so everyone's crying. If a local one will do the job, why not do it locally? I'm sure it costs more money, costs less money than doing a huge government-led investigation. It's not bad politics. It's not bad politics at all. It's just not cocking to fucking right-wing tabloids and having your entire policy be determined by what the absolute dumbest fucking people in the country are going to say. The dumbest, most dishonest people in the country are going to say. That's actually good politics. That is what people voted for this Labour government. Because the fucking Conservatives did retarded shit like the Rwanda scheme to try and appease the Daily Mail. This decision was taken in October, but first reported by GB News on the 1st of January. I'm Ethan Klein and endorse Kuihman. That's awesome. The Rwanda scheme was a plan that we sunk a bunch of fucking tax money into where they said they were going to deport immigrants, illegal immigrants, to Rwanda. And one person was put on the scheme and they never left, I think. I think the flight ever took off and we still spent an insane amount of money on it. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch accused Sir Keir of using smear tactics from 20 years ago against those calling for a national inquiry. Such a huge scandal could occur should prompt soul-searching, not ranting that those of us who care about it are the far right, said Badenoch. Reports were briefed. Sir Keir planned a bold defence of his record and his government, and his comments were the most impassioned he has been in his time as Prime Minister. Describing child sexploitation as utterly sickening. Oh, brave. Wow, I'm glad Sir Keir Starmer could stand up and say it. Child exploitation bad. Sir Keir defended his record in office as DPP, saying he tackled the issue head on. I changed the system because I could see some of the things that were going wrong, he told reporters. While DPP, Sir Keir introduced a special prosecutor for child abuse and sexual exploitation to oversee convictions. changed the Crown Prosecution Service (CPS) guidance to encourage police to investigate suspects in complex sexual abuse cases, and brought in court reforms aimed at making the process less traumatic for victims. But none of it will matter. But none of it will matter, because you can sit there and go, Jimmy Savile, which he wasn't even directly presiding over, as far as I'm aware, right? It's some shit like that, I can't remember. But anyway, fucking so dumb. That you can list out this guy's achievements endlessly, and just no one will ever listen. Sakir said he also reopened cases, brought the first prosecution of an Asian grooming gang in Rochdale, and called for mandatory reporting of child sexual abuse. When I left office, we had the highest number of child sexual abuse cases being prosecuted on record. The victims here suffered terrible abuse, he said, and then they weren't listened to. Phillips had also done 1,000 times more to protect victims of child sexual abuse than those attacking her can even dream about, he said. Sakir did not name any of those he thought were spreading lies in the debate, but his comments followed a series of questions about interventions by Musk. Over the past week, the tech entrepreneur has attacked the Labour government over grooming gangs, using his platform on social media site X to accuse Phillips of being a rape genocide apologist. Wow, very high-level discourse here. And calling for Sakir to be judged. We said that it was Phillips. But what is there to gain from a government inquiry? Why do we need to spend that money? There has not already been inquests into this stuff. I don't know. I understand why. We don't have enough money. Like, there's been so many fucking cuts for so long because our country is so fucked. And they want to just pursue essentially ideological investigations that aren't really about improving the situation or helping future victims at a huge cost to the government. Why? Yeah, what will the inquiry change? What new information looking to find? Exactly, right? Because an American said so. Very based. Very based. And calling for her and Sakir to be jailed. Musk's push to oust the PM could spark diplomatic trouble for Labour. Alongside being one of the richest men in the world, Musk is also a key advisor for US President-elect Donald Trump. Musk responded to Sakir's comments, calling him utterly despicable. In a series of posts on social media, Musk continued to attack Labour figures and the Prime Minister by name. He also condemned what he saw as Sakir's description of demands for a national inquiry into grooming gangs as far-right activism, calling it an insane thing to say. After supporting Trump's successful campaign in the US election, Musk has recently shifted attention to British and European politics, largely supporting insurgent right-wing. In the UK, he has backed Reform UK despite recently falling out with its leader Nigel Farage, and has come out in support of the far-right alternative for Germany, AfD, ahead of a snap legislative election in the country next. Musk has also called for far-right activist Tommy Robinson to be released from jail. Released from jail for what? Why? For the contempt of court that he admitted he did. The contempt of court that he did and admitted to. That what? For that. You fucking retarded. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, have to get this one in there. WBBC. Gotta get this one in there. The classic. Is currently serving an 18-month prison sentence for contempt of court after admitting he breached an injunction against repeating claims about a Syrian refugee schoolboy. Sakir accused those of cheerleading Robinson of not being interested in justice and said he would not tolerate discussion and debate on lies. Once we lose the anchor that truth matters in the robust debate that we must have, we're on a very slippery. The Liberal Democrats urged the government to summon the US ambassador to address Musk's comments, given his role in the next White House administration. Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey said, "People have had enough of Elon Musk interfering with our country's democracy when he clearly knows nothing about Britain. There have been numerous investigations into the systematic rape of young women by organised gangs, including in Rotherham, Cornwall, Derbyshire, Rochdale and Bristol." Sakir admitted many of the victims have been let down by perverse ideas about community relations or by the idea that institutions must be protected above all else. They've not been listened to and they have not been heard. A Rotherham inquiry uncovered the sexual abuse of 1,400 children over 16 years, mainly by British Pakistani men. In Telford, up to 1,000 girls face abuse over 40 years, with some cases overlooked due to nervousness about race, as most suspects were men of South Asian heritage. Again, this is like, as we used to saying, this is all stuff that was in inquiries. Musk didn't expose this. These were inquiries that were done years ago. We've known about this, and they've tried to, well, the police have tried to make changes. The useless fucking conservative government that spent 14 years in power doing fuck all for anyone did not do anything about this. So I don't know why they're crying about kids getting raped now, because they don't seem to care for the last decade and a half. I've been calling for a statutory inquiry into grooming gangs. Last week, Badenoch said trials have all taken place all over the country in recent years, but no authority has joined the dots. 2025 must be the year that victims start to get justice. But Sakir dismissed the calls, arguing the independent inquiry into child abuse by Professor Alexis J, which concluded in October 2022, had been comprehensive. So we already did a and nationally. While he agreed that no stone should be left unturned to end child sexual abuse, Sokir insisted that action is now needed, not another review. The government has previously said it wants to implement Professor Jay's recommendations. On Monday evening, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper set out that she would be taking on 3 of the report's proposals. Wait, so they're literally, as this is all going on, as all of this crying and bitching is going on, Labour actually are coming out and saying, we've had these reports happen over the last 14 years. Here are the actions we're taking. We're actually making changes in policing and local governments because of this. And no one's talking about that. It's all just endlessly, no, you have to say that Muslims are really bad. You have to say Muslims are really bad. You have to do a bunch of reports on how bad Muslims are. So annoying, man. She told MPs a recommendation for those working with children to face mandatory requirements to report abuse would be enacted via an amendment to the upcoming crime and policing bill this spring. Cooper also said that grooming would become an aggravating factor in the sentencing of abuse cases and promised an overhaul of the information and evidence gathered on child sexual abuse and exploitation. Wow, those sound like great changes that people who actually care about this should probably be really happy about. Shame none of them do, and would actually rather see kids get raped if it incited hate against Muslims. Conservative Shadow Home Secretary Chris Phillip reiterated his party's calls for a full national public inquiry into sexual abuse of children by grooming gangs. He added that calling for a new inquiry was not far right, and smearing people who raise those issues is exactly how this ended up being covered up in the first place. Yeah, this is... I don't know why you need a new inquiry. Justify. What's the reasoning? When there's already been inquiries, both locally and national. And we've got prescriptions on how to fix this stuff, and they're taking action. Unlike conservatives. So where's the problem, exactly? What are we fucking crying about? I saw a Facebook meme that said a pedophile got released, and the guy who made funny Facebook posts got jailed. And I'm absolutely certain that that is a true and honest account of the facts. Yeah, the problem is the bloody foreigners, etc, etc, etc. God, it's just so fucking tiring. Okay, where's this gay fucking video?
Every year.
Yeah! Oh my god! I guess they're not, you know, vetting these
What the hell is Kuihman even talking about this evening? I feel like it's perfectly clear.
people super well. Holy moly.
The thing about those statistics coming out today about foreigners...
Yeah, this is today. This is a real new thing that just happened that this was exposed.
...and sex crimes is that the British state already had that data.
Oh my god.
And yet the flow of foreigners coming in only ever...
Dude, chat, if you're arguing whether Elon is a good guy or not a good guy, you are missing the point.
So these grooming gangs are a thing of the past that still go on. It's like, that's like a bad framing, because it's... Grooming gangs are a specific term that was basically made up for this type of abuse. The more general term is group child sexual exploitation or group child sexual abuse. There is always going to be, as long as we have crime and sex crime and child abuse, there is always going to be some level of group child sexual exploitation in any place. So it's about what were the failings that led to these cases not being prosecuted at the time and these people not being arrested at the time, and what can we do to change policing to make sure less of this happens going forward, right? Because you can't just, you know, snap your fingers and pedophiles disappear, rapists disappear. It doesn't work like that. You have to just tune the authorities that we have to prevent as much of it as possible. And that's what Labour are doing.
I don't care if he's a good guy or not a good guy. Him exposing this is a good thing, objectively. Okay? So, you can argue literally whatever you want. I don't think any of these super mega fucking ultra rich, mega super god king, CEO, politician people are good guys. It's a cutthroat system to get that far. But they could still do good things.
Increased. It can no longer be denied.
Yeah, the government absolutely knew about this. What the fuck were they doing?
I actually haven't read the reports on the cover-up, so I don't know what ended up happening. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find anything. People got prosecuted. Prosecuted for covering up grooming gangs. Wikipedia page, but there's not one for... Oh, child sexual abuse in the United Kingdom. What a great Wikipedia page. There's no mention of cover-up on this page. Oh my... Okay, wait, there's a Sky News timeline here. Thank you, Rupert Murdoch. How did the grooming gang scandal unfold? What prosecutions have there been? Let's read through the timeline. Names of taxi drivers who allegedly picked up girls from care homes in Rotherham to abuse them are passed to police and council from 2001. The first convictions were not until 2010, with the latest in 2024, a total of 61. A Channel 4 documentary about claims young white girls in Bradford were being groomed for sex by Asian abusers delayed as police forces warned it could inflame racial tensions. It was finally shown 3 months later. 11 men, predominantly of an Asian background, are convicted of offences connected with the sexual exploitation of children in Derbyshire. 2011, Times journalist Andrew Norfolk starts receiving tip-offs about child exploitation by predominantly Asian men in Rotherham. It was his insistence on pursuing the story, despite being called racist and concerns the far right would latch onto it, that eventually led to a national inquiry. A girl abused by a grooming gang in Huddersfield writes a letter to a judge about the abuse she had suffered. It was not until 2013 another victim came forward to police to make formal allegations, and dozens of girls and men were interviewed over the next 3 years. Victims and families said they repeatedly told police authorities, but nothing happened. Operation Bullfinch is launched by the police and council in Oxford to look into a child sex abuse ring in the city. The first convictions are secured in May 2013, then 2015, 2016, 2019, and 2020. The first grooming gang's convictions of men from Rochdale and Oldham see 9 found guilty of being part of a child exploitation ring, run out of 2 takeaways in Greater Manchester since 2008. A further 5 from the Rochdale area were jailed the following year. 2013, 7 men have been jailed. It emerges at the conclusion of child sex abuse trials related to offences in the Telford area. Jesus. 13 men are convicted of the sexual exploitation of children in Bristol at the conclusion of Operation Brook. A total of 29 men from a Huddersfield grooming gang are charged, but a reporting restriction prevents media from reporting on the case to avoid prejudicing other cases. The ban was criticised by far-right groups, with Tommy Robinson, also known as Stephen Yaxley Lennon, jailed for 13 months, later reduced to 9 months, after admitting contempt for filming outside a court during the trial. 20 men, mainly of Pakistani origin, but the ringleader was Sikh, who were part of the Huddersfield child sex abuse ring, are convicted of 120 rape and abuse offences against 15 girls, and sentenced to a total of 221 years. 3 separate trials had to be held, as there were so many of them. More men have been convicted since then, bringing the total number to 41 by August 2021. 2023, a grooming gangs task force is set up by Rishi Sunak's government, which qualified officers from all 43 places. So Rishi Sunak actually did something. So all through this, no mention of Conservative MPs or anything, and then Rishi Sunak. kind of a win in 2023. The qualified officer, guys, listen. I'm not with them, okay? Listen, I'm one of the good ones. Qualified officers from all 43 police forces in England and Wales and data analysts in May 2024, 550 suspects been arrested and 4,000 victims identified. 9 further men are charged with sexual offences in Rotherham under Operation Stovewood. Most of the offences took place between 2003 and 2008. Operation Stovewood sees 11 more men from Rotherham convicted for the abuse of vulnerable girls. There have been 10 inquiries and reports into the grooming gangs. The Home Affairs Select Committee publishes a report into the Rochdale case, finding the failure to protect children fell to police, social workers, and CPS prosecutors. An inquiry into grooming gangs in Rotherham, led by Professor Alexis J. and commissioned by the council in 2013, finds 1,400 children were sexually abused between 1997 and 2013 by predominantly British Pakistani men. Then the Home Secretary Theresa May commissions the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse in England and Wales following the Jimmy Savile scandal. Professor J became the chair after 3 others resigned. 2015, a West Midlands report from 2010 is released publicly after a Freedom of Information request by the Birmingham Mail. It shows police knew 5 years before that Asian grooming gangs were targeting children outside schools in Birmingham, but were worried about community tensions if it was made public. A report into the Rotherham Council's handling of sexual abuse, commissioned by the government and led by Baroness Casey, finds that the council had a bullying, sexist culture of covering up information and silencing whistleblowers. A new police inquiry into child sexual abuse in Rotherham is launched with 19 men and 2 women convicted in 2016 and 17 of sexual offences dating back to the late 1980s. 2015, a serious case review by Oxfordshire Safeguarding and Children's Partnership finds 373 children, including 50 boys, could have been groomed and sexually exploited in the city. It accused Thames Valley Police of not believing children when they complained. An independent review into historic child exploitation in Oldham, shisha bars, from 2011 to 2014 is commissioned by Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham after Oldham Council requested it. The Home Office refuses to release research into grooming gangs as it is not in the public interest. This is when conservatives are in charge as well. Following public pressure, it releases the report, which finds no credible evidence any one ethnic group is overrepresented in child sex exploitation. It is branded a whitewash by critics. Conservative inquiry. Okay. So the conservatives refused to release research that suggested that there was no credible evidence any one ethnic group is overrepresented in child sex exploitation. Imagine if it had been the other way. Imagine how much we would be hearing about it if a Labour government refused to release research which found that a particular ethnic group was overrepresented in child sexual exploitation. Imagine the outcry. Imagine the amount of rage from people like Elon Musk. But the conservatives do it the opposite way. No one cares. No one gives a fuck. No one ever brings this up. The independent inquiry into child sexual abuse by Professor J is published after 12 years. It finds police and councils downplay the scale of the problem and children are often blamed for their abuse. It makes recommendations, including mandatory reporting of child sexual abuse by people working with children, the establishment of a national financial compensation scheme for victims let down by institutions, and the creation of a child protection authority. So did the Conservatives do any of this with that report they commissioned? 2022, Oldham councillors called for a government inquiry into grooming gangs in the town, but the Conservative government rejected it. It said the local authority should commission a review. Curious how the Conservatives did the exact same fucking thing to the exact same council that Labour have just done, but everyone's crying about it now. Very interesting. Very fucking interesting. Did the Conservatives? No. Well, great point. Stupid question. Stupid question. Greater Manchester's inquiry into Oldham grooming gangs was released. Found the police council failed to protect vulnerable children and covered up their failings. Telford Independent Inquiry was published and found more than 1,000 children in the town were sexually exploited, and the abuse was allowed to continue for years, with children often blamed. The inquiry found issues were not investigated because of nervousness about race, with teachers and youth workers discouraged from reporting child sexual exploitation. Oldham councillors again called for a government inquiry. Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips said the council had to carry out. So what I'm saying here is basically the issue is there was no mandatory reporting. All these places said no mandatory reporting. So there isn't actually any recourse you could take against someone for quote unquote covering up. So when Douglas Murray is getting on and talking about, oh, well, we never found out who any of these people were. They were never held accountable. It's because we didn't have the laws and the systems to do that. And part of what Starmer's doing, I believe, what Yvette Cooper's doing, is introducing like national mandatory reporting. For what purpose, though, Nate? For what purpose? To name and shame people who are in positions of power but didn't have the laws or training at the time? Like just random, like oftentimes civilians? When there's no law we can use to bring actual justice? Is that all? Like, is that all we want? Just go and name every teacher who didn't report a kid getting abused? A closure is fucking meaningless. That means nothing. Give me a prescription. Give me a... we don't just request inquiries for closure because we want to do something with it. Because there's a goal. The Telford Independent Inquiry was published and found more than 1,000 children in the town were sexually exploited and the abuse was allowed to continue for years. With children blamed... Inquiry found issues not investigated. Okay, we read that one. Oldham councillors again called for a government inquiry, but Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips said the council had to carry it out. So again, the same thing Conservatives said 2 years ago. Anyone who didn't report the crime should be arrested. Okay, but there weren't laws for that at the time. That's why we've got mandatory reporting now. That's why Labour actually doing something about it, right? So Keir Starmer was Director of Public Prosecutions. The EPP had the Crown Prosecution Service, which conducts criminal prosecutions in England and Wales for 5 years. CPS was criticised for not prosecuting Rochdale grooming gang suspects in 2008 and 2009. It said the main victim was unreliable, so dropped the case. In that financial year, child sexual abuse prosecutions reached 4,794, the highest during Sir Keir's time as DPP. In 2016-17, there were 7,200 prosecutions. The decision to not prosecute in Rochdale was overturned by Nazir Afzal, Chief Prosecutor for North West England, appointed by Sir Keir. A Home Affairs Committee report said, unlike other agencies, the CPS had readily admitted victims had been let down by them and have attempted to both discover the cause of this systemic failure and improve the way things are done. so as to avoid a repetition of such events. Wow, crazy. And that was when Sakir was running it. Wow, crazy. I don't know, this stuff just makes me more reactionary. Then you might be low IQ. Feel free to call in, you sound dumb as fuck. The report added, Mr. Starmer has striven to improve the treatment of victims of sexual assault within the criminal justice system through his term as DPP. Wow, crazy. Crazy how reports have been saying that for 11 years, isn't it? Crazy how that's the way that is. How actually this guy isn't protecting pedophiles and Elon Musk is like a fucking retard. Isn't that wild how it's like that? Every fucking time. Maggie Oliver, a former Manchester detective and whistleblower, told the BBC, the CPS bears a great deal of responsibility for the failures around this issue, including bringing inadequate charges and blaming victims. 2013, Sakir revised guidance on child sexual exploitation to make future prosecutions easier. Before, victims may not have been viewed as credible if they had not complained immediately, if they'd used drugs or alcohol, or dressed and acted in particular ways. The Child Sexual Abuse Review Panel was created by Sakir to review CPS decisions to not bring charges or terminate proceedings after 5th of June 2013. Yeah, in short, Starmer's criticised and acted, Tories sat on their hands and had lockdown parties, basically, yeah. It's just so comedic. It's like, so... the politics in the UK are so fucking one-sided. It's crazy. Labour have fuck-ups, but the level of just dishonesty and malice is just fucking crazy from the Tories. It's just nuts. There's so many times where Keir Starmer will basically get attacked for admitting that he fucked up. People won't even care about the fuck up, but the moment Keir points out, oh, I fucked up and I'm going to fix this, they start going at him. Like, what was it? It was the reporting. He got, like, gifted something, like clothes. Or his wife got gifted clothes by some donor. And he reported it. And that's how it got into the news. And then Conservatives started spazzing out about it. But the whole way through, Boris Johnson's fucking being Prime Minister, he was accepting insane gifts. Had his entire fucking flat renovated by a donor. It's just, like, so crazy. It's so one-sided. It's insane. So, I mean, I guess let's read what Elon Musk has said. Finish this off. The billionaire, who posts on X, which he owns many times every day, has also given a series of interviews in which he comments on the grooming gangs, child sexual exploitation cases in the past. He's shown support for both Reform and Tommy Robinson, who began to post about grooming gang scandal regularly, in response to others in late December and early January. 31st December, in response to an X post referencing the grooming gangs, claiming that out of political correctness, the government did everything it could to cover up the crimes, Mr. Musk replied. The government officials responsible, including those in the judiciary, need to fired in shame over this. Okay. Need to fired. In response to a post that claimed that parents who attempted to rescue their children were arrested when the police arrived, he said on X, so many people at all levels of power in the UK need to be in prison for this. Then, after a series of posts responding to people expressing similar views, including sympathy for Tommy Robinson and support for Reform, he responded to a post saying, Labour's Jess Phillips, Minister for Safeguarding, refused to back a public inquiry into child exploitation in Oldham. Shameful conduct by Jess Phillips. Throw her out. He responds to a post by calling for a new election. Then he posts, in the UK, serious crimes such as rape require the Crown Prosecution Service's approval for the police to charge suspects. Who was head of the CPS when rape gangs were allowed to exploit young girls without facing justice? Sir Keir Starmer, 2008-2013. Except he actually did something about it, unlike everyone else. Who is the boss of Jess Phillips right now? Keir Starmer. The reason she's refusing to investigate the rape gangs is that it would obviously lead to the blaming of Keir Starmer, head of the CPS at the time, except there have literally been reports that have already done that have said the complete fucking opposite and said the CPS were the most forthcoming and receptive to changes. You fucking retard. Dude. Responding to a post criticising what someone called legacy media, he said, this is the same media that hid the fact 250,000 little girls still are, being systematically raped by migrant gangs in Britain. Okay. They are beneath contempt, despicable human beings. So January, in response to a post talking about the cost of another public inquiry, he says, no UK government inquiry for the gang rape of innocent little girls, but 22 million spent on an obviously violent lunatic. Shame, shame, shame. He went on to accuse Sir Keir Starmer of being guilty of complicity and accusing Jess Phillips of being a rape genocide apologist. 4th of January, he responded to an article in the Daily Telegraph which claimed to show the grooming scandal was covered up by saying, how the rape of Britain was covered up, and then later added, the sniveling cowards who allowed the mass rape of little girls in Britain are still in power for now. What a fucking loser.
Doing this whole time. Were they just letting thousands of women get raped every year just because they were afraid they'd look racist? Like, that is the most woke brain rot I've ever heard in my entire life, if that's true.
Migration has made the UK increasingly unsafe for women and...
Oh, didn't even see that while I was reading, but there is someone complaining about the fact we're covering politics, so that is an immediate, permanent ban from the channel. Thank you.
Girls. The statistics only underline what women who've experienced form of cultural enrichment have been warning us about.
Bro, dude did not just call rape cultural enrichment. Bro did not just fucking do that! Oh my god.
For years.
I've been living in London for 10 years. I've also lived in multiple other countries around the world. Never
Yes, Jess Phillips was the I wouldn't even rape you Sargon MP, correct, yes.
before have I felt as unsafe as I do now. When I walk down the street, I'm increasingly being leered at. I'm increasingly being followed like I'm going around the souks of Morocco.
Bro, and I bet you they called her racist. Woman says that she is This is what happened to Anna Kasparian. She was a left-wing commentator with the Young Turks, and she actually got groped by a homeless man and told that story online.
Like, you can hate Jess Phillips because she's kind of like a bitchy woman in the news. As far as I'm aware, her constituency like her. Like, I'm pretty sure she is like a super like locally focused politician who's like always around. So I mean, like, you can cry, but they keep electing her. You're just someone on the outside. What's the point?
Never before have I felt as unsafe as I do now. When I walk down the street, I'm increasingly being leered at. I'm increasingly being followed like I'm going around the souks of Morocco.
Bro, and I bet you they called her racist for this interview. Woman says that she is This is what happened to Anna Kasparian. She was a left-wing commentator with the Young Turks, and she actually got groped by a homeless man and told that story online, and they made fun of her for being anti-homeless people. Bro, she is actually
Sargon apologized and condemned to treatment by her opponents in the past election. Probably a bit late for that to be ever. Wait, it was just the most obviously dishonest apology in the fucking world, because the whole point of it was just to use her as a cudgel against Muslims. It was like she complained about basically pro-Palestine people being violent towards her, and was just like, oh yeah, fuck. She used to be like, fuck Muslims, basically. Like, that was it.
What she is saying right here is, like, she is talking from personal experience. Oh my god.
And it's not, visibly to me anyway, people who were born and bred here. It isn't. And you know, it's very difficult because we're not allowed to talk about it because, oh my gosh, you know, that breaks taboo. Oh, you know,
it breaks taboo. It breaks taboo. You can't do that.
If you say this, I'm sorry. A lot of women going about their...
No, the rape gang stuff is not just like actual rape gangs roaming the streets. That's not what it is, okay? This is like the image they want you to have in your head. It's quote-unquote grooming gangs that usually prey on sometimes white girls, but very often Muslim girls in Muslim communities who can't speak out to people on the outside, and girls in foster care. And they're grooming gangs. So like they're people who work in like taxi places or takeaways and stuff like that, and they ply kids with alcohol and shit like that. It's not people just like storming through the street, a bunch of Muslim guys storming through the street, grabbing a woman, grabbing a kid, and just dragging them along. It's impoverished kids who are already disenfranchised, who have trouble speaking out or trouble being in contact with people, issues with safeguarding, that get targeted by these grooming gangs. It's just, but people want to portray it as though it's literally like an invading force, like they're like fucking Vikings, like they're coming over and just stealing the women and raping them. That's the image they want you to have in your head.
Their daily business feel that their safety is being directly threatened by people who are coming from different cultures.
Yeah, exactly. Access alone predicts most crimes are going to be primarily in-group rather than out-group, actually across the board. Exactly.
We have to support women unless those women are supporting our ideologies. If they are not supporting our ideologies...
Yeah, exactly, because conservatives are so motivated to do stuff about, young Muslim girls and girls in foster care. Because they're so motivated to protect them at every other time.
Fuck them.
And this needs to be discussed, because I've had enough. All my other female friends have had enough. When I put this stuff online, the number of comments online from other women saying they've had enough and saying thank you for talking nothing about this.
Call me crazy.
That's terrifying. That is actually terrifying. Oh my god.
Easy, but I'm starting to think that Deliveroo and Uber Eats weren't...
Dude, listen, I am all for exposing fake news. I am all for propaganda. If this is absolutely propaganda to push, you know, right-wing ideologies and stuff like that, but it's true. It's true. This is factually
Dude, this guy's
true.
so dumb. This guy is like actually 50 IQ. It's fucking crazy.
You can't just sit here and tell me that this is propaganda to push right-wing ideologies when this is really happening. Hello?
Worth it. Joe Rogan, known for being in great shape for his age. He bounced back from COVID in just...
All right, he's gonna promote some sort of fucking supplement. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, bro. Definitely buy the M&M grooming material for 3x absorption of semen.
It's emerged as controversy.
All right, Labor rejects calls for Old M grooming gang inquiry. This is a 2nd of January. I'm telling you, this just happened. Dude, the media is so fucking cooked. The fucking politicians are so fucking corrupt.
Yeah, it just happened, but the exact same thing also happened 2 years ago when the Conservatives were in power, you fucking retard.
That they would rather close their eyes, do nothing about this situation.
What do you mean close their eyes, do nothing about the situation? Literally on Monday, Yvette Cooper announced a bunch of changes that were happening as a result of inquiries into this exact topic. What do you mean do nothing? What do you mean? What do you mean? What the fuck are you talking about?
In danger in public. And they'd rather just close their eyes because they might seem problematic and say something racist by accident. Is that not insane?
Loaded over the Labour government's refusal to
Look, if you are part of the government, your #1 goal is for your people.
support a new inquiry into the grooming gang scandal. Now,
see, I told you it's a real thing. Dude, when I said grooming gang, people in my chat were like, grooming gang? What are you this isn't a real thing. This is right-wing propaganda. Bro, dude, oh,
dude, people
holy shit. Dude, whoa.
Keir Starmer having been pounded on the issue.
As the mayor amount, like 90% is happening on the Conservatives, right? Yep. Pretty much all of it.
By Elon Musk for over a week.
Now, to be fair, all the stuff goes back to the 1980s. There's been various governments in power when the crimes are actually being committed. But as far as inquiries coming out, all the inquiries have come out while the Conservatives were in power, and they sat on their hands and did nothing. So everyone who had the information to act and apply broad policy changes, well, it was the Conservatives the whole way.
Essentially said that anyone concerned about the industrial scale grooming...
Conspiracy of silence on UK sex gangs. Holy shit.
And now PJW saying it's industrial scale grooming. It's really not. That implies that it's all like the whole thing is coordinated, but it's not. It's pockets of gangs. It's groups of men in areas who, you know, end up doing these things. It's not like there's a market across the country that's all coordinated. It's all to... No.
Exploitation and rape of young girls by predominantly Pakistani men is basically just a...
The issue is this, you know who else this is gonna hurt? By the fact that this has been allowed to go on for so long, they are literally giving rapists privileges because of their they are giving rapists privileges because of their race. Now, obviously that sounds fucking insane, and that's because it is. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Holy shit. And you know what? I'm sure the vast majority of Pakistani people are just trying to live their lives and make a better...
Douglas Murray saying Tories are being cowards. That just sounds like total cope to try and avoid saying that like more money should be spent on public services, basically. Because the issue wasn't that they're cowards. The issue is that they were practicing austerity for the entire time and we're not putting any money into fucking anything that would actually help people, like the average person, by having police on the street.
Their life for themselves and their family and not getting involved in this shit. But because this has been left to fester, it's only going to make things worse for everyone.
Far-right bigot.
And when
Who's this?
politicians, and I mean politicians, who sat in government for many years, are casual about honesty, decency, truth, and the rule of law, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
It's always the far right. Is he the British Prime Minister? This guy that's yapping? Yeah, he is, right? He is the Prime Minister. Holy shit. Oh, God, dude.
And that affects politics.
This guy's so dumb.
Would just lie to you, blimey.
How is he lying? Where's the lie?
British Prime Minister.
Where's the lie?
Politicians who sat when
Who's this? It's worse for...
politicians, and I mean politicians, who sat in government for many years, are casual about honesty, decency, truth, and the rule of law, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
It's always the far right. Is he the British Prime Minister? This guy that's yapping? Yeah, he is, right? He is the Prime Minister. Holy shit. Oh, God, dude.
And that affects
You mean the Prime Minister would just lie to you? Blimey! That's crazy!
Starmer's not exactly keen on investigating the subject, given that
no shit.
Under his leadership, the CPS failed to prosecute many of these grooming gang ringleaders.
Critics will say it's not a far-right bandwagon issue, Prime Minister. The ISRA report looked at just 6 towns where grooming gangs were operating. Rochdale got 1 mention in 400 pages. We have found at GB News a report showing gangs operating in 50 towns across the country. Are you certain, as Prime Minister, it's not going on today? Why don't you order a national public inquiry?
Are you certain it's not going on today? I'm sure that... Dude, it's so stupid framing. Are you sure it's not going on today? There's always going to be some amount of child abuse, dude. I'm sorry, you can't just snap your fingers and make child abuse as a concept disappear overnight. And shockingly enough, yeah, some Muslims are going to do it. Possibly even a disproportionate amount. But you can't just snap your fingers and make it go away. The point is to implement changes in policing and local authorities that make it easier to prevent this stuff going forward and seek justice for victims, which is what they're doing.
Join the dots between 50 towns, not 6, barely mentioned in the J report. Are you afraid it might expose failings as your role as a DPP? And that's why Elon Musk says, were you completely right for Britain? You have not. To go after the far right on this does not go to the heart of the problem.
Starmer's...
Oh my God. Bro, someone in my chat just said, I live across UK in Ireland. We knew about the grooming gangs for more than 10 years. Just Google the Rotherham child sexual exploitation scandal. Bro, dude, England is so cooked. They're so cooked. They're so cooked.
What?
They
Dude.
woke too close to the sun.
Oh yeah, this thing happened 10 years ago. England's so cooked! England's so cooked! Because this thing happened 10 years ago. Wow, some crimes happened 10 years ago. The country's cooked! The country's cooked! Shut up, man. You're so dumb.
Oh my God.
CPS failed to prosecute, despite in some cases literally...
And they don't even investigate this. What is even going on?
Yes, they do.
What, does investigating as rapists, does investigating rapists go against your morals?
Finding the DNA...
We just covered all the... We just went down a crazy huge list of all these inquests. Everything that happened, all the prosecutions that have happened, the hundreds of years of sentences that have been handed out.
Of the accused in the victim's underwear.
Possibly thousands cumulatively, years of sentences handed out.
What? Wait.
Does not go to the heart of the problem.
Starmer's CPS failed to prosecute, despite in some cases literally finding the DNA of the accused in the victim's underwear.
That's crazy. They found...
CPS failed to prosecute, despite in some cases literally finding the DNA of the accused in the victim's underwear.
So again, yes, the CPS did fuck up. But as we looked here, while the CPS did fuck up, they were also the first ones to admit they fucked up and took immediate changes and have had huge changes since. Where is it? Where's the Keir Starmer bit? Let's read this again. The CPS was criticised for not prosecuting Rochdale grooming gang suspects in 2008 and 2009, said the main victim was unreliable to drop the case. In that financial year, child sexual abuse prosecutions reached 4,794, the highest during Sir Keir's time as DPP. 2016-17, there were nearly 7,200 prosecutions. Decision to not prosecute Rochdale was overturned by Nazir Afzal, the chief prosecutor for North West England, appointed by Sir Keir. So the person Keir Starmer put in charge, the person he appointed, overturned the decision to not prosecute. It was one of his people who overturned that decision to not prosecute. So they prosecuted him under Keir. A Home Affairs Committee report said, unlike other agencies, the CPS had readily admitted victims had been let down by them and have attempted to both discover the cause of this systemic failure and to improve the way things are done so as to avoid a repetition of such events. The report added, Mr. Starmer has striven to improve the treatment of victims of sexual assault within the criminal justice system through his term as DPP. Maggie Oliver, a former Manchester detective and whistleblower, told the BBC the CPS bears a great deal of responsibility for the failures around this issue, including bringing inadequate charges and blaming victims. Sir Keir revised guidance on child sexual exploitation to make future prosecutions easier. Before, victims may not have been viewed as credible if they had not complained immediately, if they'd used drugs or alcohol, or dressed and acted in particular ways. The Child Sexual Abuse Review Panel was created by Sir Keir to review CPS decisions to not bring charges or terminate proceedings after 5th of June 2013. So literally all the bunch of great changes made by Keir Starmer while he was in charge of the CPS, but they just go, oh, well, this scandal happened while he was in charge, even though he is the one doing all of the changes to fix systemic issues, because he was the head, right? He wasn't individually picking through each case. He's in charge of, like, who the heads of department are, who the prosecutors are, what systems are in place, what policies are in place. So when the issue's apparent, he took action.
That's crazy. They found the guy's fucking cum in her panties and failed to prosecute. What the absolute fuck is going on? They're so scared of being called racists that they're not arresting rapists? Like, I'm so shocked. I'm, like, actually floored. Like, dude, every time people say the woke mind virus, I make fun of them. I'm like, this is the woke mind virus. Well, evidence! What is going on?
Dude,
Those that are
the woke mind virus in the 2000s. In the 2000s, because that's when these scandals happened.
Misinformation as far and as wide as possible. They're not interested in victims.
Yeah, but you should be, bro. I hate when people do this. It's like, oh,
yeah,
the only reason why
he is. That's why he put a bunch of policies in place to make it better for victims. Thank you for the 199, Dan.
Elon Musk is exposing rapists is because he's trying to get out of hot water himself. Okay, so he's selfishly exposing rapists. It's like, where's the fucking logic, bro? What the hell?
He's not exposing anything. He's not exposing anything. He's just lying about a bunch of shit that he knows nothing about.
Oh, this guy, he's a pedophile hunter. But he said the word retard on Twitter, so I don't trust him. But he caught pedophiles. That's a good thing, right? Yeah, but he said the word retard on Twitter. Like, hello?
Dude, you're so fucking stupid.
The nerve of Starmer to claim that people are just pretending to be outraged about this, and they don't really care about the victims. When Labour
he's right.
Directly involved in
horrific betrayal of 1,400 children. Asian gangs appalling sexual abuse of young girls lasted 16 years because people in authority were scared of being labeled racist if they tackled it. Is this real? Is this real? What's the Daily Mirror? Look, I don't know any of these stupid UK sites. The Daily Mirror. Is this like a legitimate site? The Daily Mirror is a British national daily tabloid newspaper. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, if this is true, it's fucking insane. Like, what are you gonna... Like, just read how insane this headline is. Asian gangs appalling sexual abuse of young girls lasted 16 years because people in authority were scared of being labeled racist if they tackled it. Scared of being labeled racist. Like, dude, this is the most brain rot shit in the universe. Can we fucking kill this entire movement, please? It's like, I don't want to be racist, so therefore, if you're a minority rapist, you'll be fine. Dude, what is happening?
Covering up the scandal from the late 90s onwards, when Labour's cover-up ensured that victims of the Rotherham grooming gang and others were ignored or silenced, because the government thought
Our grooming gang scandal was covered up. Oh my god, dude. The child victims of rape were denied justice and protection from the state to preserve the image of a successful multicultural society. Dude, that's fucking insane. Like, how do you read this and
because the government thought
Our grooming gang scandal was covered up. Oh my god, dude. The child victims of rape were denied justice and protection from the state to preserve the image of a successful multicultural society. Dude, that's fucking insane. Like, how do you read this and even think of this as like these are pro women's rights people, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like, yeah, individual police officers said, like, oh, we didn't want to inflame community tensions, or I didn't want to be called racist, stuff like that. It's not like it wasn't policy that, oh, we have to stop this from coming out because we have to preserve the image of a multicultural society. It's like individuals acting in like tense and delicate situations. Is the Spectator any good? It could be worse. What's the Daily Mirror? It sounds kind of sussy. It's like a mid, kind of lame tabloid newspaper. It's like one step away from the Daily Mail. It's not particularly...
Child victims were denied justice and protection from the state to preserve an image of successful multicultural society. That is the most evil shit I've ever heard in my life. Palpatine from Star Wars wouldn't come up with something this evil.
Having the image of the UK as a successful multicultural society was more important than obtaining justice for the victims. In some instances, authorities even sided with the abusers because prosecuting them would have been seen as politically incorrect.
Every sentence he says is just insane.
In some cases, police even arrested the parents of the girls who were being trafficked and abused. And
there's no way that's true.
Police even arrested...
We read cases where a child was doused in petrol and threatened with being set alight. What the fuck? Children were threatened with guns. Children witnessed brutally violent rapes and were threatened as if they would be next victim if they told anyone. Girls as young as 11 were raped by large numbers of male perpetrators, one after the other. This is awful. In 2 of the cases we read, fathers tracked down their daughters and tried to remove them from houses where they were
Nux be like, Shedman should draw this.
Being abused, only to be arrested themselves when police were called to the scene. Dude, what the fuck? This doesn't even feel like real life. A small number of kids which already received the media attention, the victims were arrested for offenses such as breach of the peace or being drunk and disorderly with no action taken against the perpetrators of the sexual assault against the children. Dude, listen, I love chaos as much as the next.
Yeah, Nux is next. Wait, let's check. What's the thumbnail for this video? It's a shame this wasn't made a couple years ago. It's a shame this wasn't made a couple years ago. Nux would have had a fucking banger thumbnail. You know, he would have had a crazy thumbnail.
UK, you guys are not okay. When your system is designed to imprison parents instead of actual child traffickers, there's something wrong going on. Maybe Andrew Tate should become the president. Listen, it takes one to know one, you know? Listen, bro has experience as an alleged child trafficker. Right. I'm just saying, like, he knows how to get into there. Oh my God, what is going on? Oh my God.
Arrested the parents of the girls who were being trafficked and abused. And the Labour Prime Minister Gordon Brown allegedly told police to deliberately ignore the issue because the girls had chosen to be abused.
My name is Leon Muller.
What is the source on that?
Allegedly the girls who were being trafficked and abused. And the Labour Prime Minister Gordon Brown allegedly told police to deliberately ignore the issue because the girls had chosen to be abused.
Gordon Brown told police chosen to be abused. Grooming gang scandal. Oh, okay.
My name is Leon Muller. I'm an ex-police officer. Former Chief Crown Prosecutor Mr. Nazir Afwaz stated in an interview to the BBC Radio 4 that in 2008 the Labour government under Prime Minister Gordon Brown and Home Secretary Jackie Smith sent a circular to all police forces in this country saying that as far as these young girls who are being exploited in town, we believe that they have made an informed choice about their sexual behaviour.
What?
Okay, so that's the clip. Let's see what's actually being said here. Let's see what's actually... Gordon Brown hits back at Elon Musk's complete fabrication over grooming gangs. Let's see. Gordon Brown has hit back at Elon Musk's claims he committed an unforgivable crime against the British people over the grooming gang scandal. The former Prime Minister said the Tesla tycoon's attack was a complete fabrication, accused him of propagating outright lies about the sexual abuse and exploitation of children. After a war of words between Mr. Musk and Sir Keir Starmer, the world's richest man turned his fire on the Labour grandee. His attack centred on a claim circulating on social media that Mr. Brown's government sent a circular to British police forces in 2008 telling them victims have made an informed choice about their sexual behaviour and not to get involved. Responding to a clip allegedly showing ex-police officer Dion Miller making the claim, Mr. Musk said, "What? Explain yourself, Gordon Brown." In a series of posts on X, formerly Twitter, he added, "Gordon Brown sold those little girls for votes. Gordon Brown committed an unforgivable crime against the British people." In a statement on Monday night, a spokesman for Mr. Brown said, "There is no basis for such allegations at all. They are a complete fabrication. There is no foundation whatsoever for alleging that Mr. Brown sent, approved, or was in any way involved with issuing a circular or statement to the police, because it did not happen." The ex-owner has latched onto this issue of grooming gangs, even though there's already been an inquiry, and what seems to be a right-wing attempt to stir up racial division. I mean, yeah. He is urging a national inquiry into the scale backed by Conservatives and Reform UK, which critics say is not needed because one concluded in 2022 by Professor Alexis Jay. And hitting back at calls for a new national inquiry on Tuesday, Prof Jay told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, "The time has passed for more inquiries. We've had enough. We've set out the action required, and people should just get on with it, nationally and locally." I mean, facts. She refused to discuss Mr. Musk, but said she is very unhappy about the way many people, sometimes in an uninformed way, have waded into the argument. Labour has committed to implementing the 20 recommendations of the IICSA's recommendations, and the government said it was working at pace to deliver reforms set out in the 2022 review, which found abuse was endemic across society in England and Wales. Yvette Cooper on Monday said that as part of the process, professionals who work with children will face criminal sanctions if they do not report child sexual abuse. So we've got mandatory reporting now, epic. Professor Jay said, which Tories didn't do, by the way, Professor J added that government had likely acted sooner than it otherwise would have on the move because of the current political pressure. Mr. Brown's forceful pushback on Monday night follows Sakir's initial reluctance to directly hit back at misleading claims Mr. Musk had made about his own record as Director of Public Prosecutions before entering politics. After days of attacks over the grooming gang scandal, Sakir eventually said on Monday that the billionaire and others spreading lies about his child abuse have crossed the line. Those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and wide as possible are not interested in victims, they're interested in themselves. They are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, a man who went to prison for nearly collapsing a grooming case, a gang grooming case. I mean, facts. In his own statement, a spokesman for Mr. Brown debunked the claim being used to attack him, adding, the original source of this allegation has expressly accepted that Mr. Brown was not involved at all. Moreover, there is no evidence that such words attributed to him by Elon Musk have ever been used by Mr. Brown because he neither said nor did them. The former PM said the priority for everyone in public life should be securing justice for survivors, punishment for perpetrators, and action by the government to ensure the horrific crimes can never happen again. That collective endeavour is undermined when some individuals and media outlets instead propagate outright lies about the reasons these crimes happened in the past, Mr. Brown's spokesman added. So it's just a fucking lie that NuxTaku is accepting whole cloth with no evidence.
Therefore, it is not for you police officers to get involved in.
You're telling me that she said that she got a letter from the Prime Minister saying that these girls chose to be assaulted? Like, I'm sorry I'm dumbing that down for you, but that kind of sounded like what she was...
I believe the report was finished and released to public basically immediately after, like pretty soon after, in 2022. And the Conservatives went out last year now, 2024. So they had 2 years to act. Not to mention all the other reports that they had done while they were in power.
Was saying, this is hell on earth. Like, this is maddening and frustrating. And honestly, listen, I think it's important that people know this is happening. I think it's important. Unless I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I have no idea what's going on. But, this is insane.
It is not for you police officers to get involved.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on because you've done zero research. You're like, just accepting a PJW video whole cloth because you're a fucking moron.
That's the message she got. What the fuck?
Essentially covered it all up because they were scared of how the general public would react if the full horror of it was revealed. And the full horror is almost beyond comprehension. That's...
Yeah, I'm not reading that. I read that.
Full horror of it was revealed. And the...
Yeah. Oh my god! I am not reading that out loud. That's awful.
Full horror is almost beyond comprehension. That's why they're blocking a new inquiry, because they were complicit in it from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's saving that one for later. Okay, you can't read that one on stream, alright?
And now they're trying to deflect...
Spreading lies on grooming gangs. Dude, they're so cooked. And you know he's cooked. He's not getting elected again. This Starner Prime Minister guy, he's fucked up. Like, he's gone. He's gonzo. He's mega gone.
Over what? Over what, retard?
Honestly, I think that... Like, this is brain rot gone too far. I know that everyone will say, oh, the reason why you have these people losing is because of the populist message. Bro, this guy put racism higher on his agenda, racism towards migrants, higher on his agenda.
Who is that woman? It's allegedly Dion Miller or whatever her name is, but she's backtracked it and said there's no reason to think that Gordon Brown was involved, so.
Then protecting girls from actually getting raped and physically not imprisoning the rapists. What is going on? Purge the heretics. Brother, get me the heavy flamer. Now is the time for the God Emperor of mankind to awaken. I'm just saying.
Like the anger by monstering Elon Musk for
this is, by the way, whenever you guys say you like Warhammer, this is how I see you.
About it.
And everyone makes him the villain. Well, sure, that makes sense.
People are demanding a new inquiry, but what exactly will that accomplish? Another opportunity for the political establishment to cover it all up? When will the conversation shift to re-migration? To sending home the 10,000 foreign criminals currently in UK prisons? Sweden's doing it. They now have a net outflow of migration.
What? Sweden has more emigrants than immigrants for the first time in half a century. Oh my god! Oh my god! It's a wild spot right now. Things are changing, bro. Things are fucking changing. Now, obviously, it's awful that these things are happening, but it is absolutely positive and a definite... It is absolutely 100% a positive that people know this is happening. Knowledge is power. People have to be aware. That is the only thing you can do. You must...
Dude, it's just like so fucking stupid. Not all information is good information. I'm sorry. It just isn't. and this is like so obvious to anyone that's not completely fucking retarded. It is better to have no information than something that's incorrect or misrepresented, grossly misrepresented, because that is going to lead you to worse conclusions. That's just true in almost every case. Information is good if it's actually true. If it's true, if it's accurate, if it can help you in some way, if it can lead you to better conclusions. Just getting a bunch of retarded shit off of Twitter or PJW videos, that's not knowledge is power. That's just you filling your brain with a bunch of fucking awful slop.
Be aware. Be informed. Oh my God.
And just over the weekend, the German government signalled it was about to do it too, remitting nearly 500,000 Syrians who are not in employment and are on state benefits. If two of the most liberal countries on the planet when it comes to open borders can change course, can turn to re-migration when it's the only feasible solution to the utter mess that's been visited on us as a result of mass migration. When polls show a full 70% of Brits think migration is too high.
Bro, if 70% of a population think that something is bad and it's not changing, then it is not a democracy, it's a dictator.
This is so fucking retarded. It's just like the dumbest reading of polling in the world. Yeah, people say they don't like immigration. But you know what people also hate? Is the cost of everything going through the fucking roof because you can't find anyone to work any dogshit jobs. They don't like their standard of living being grossly affected. It's so fucking stupid. It's like literally the most brain-dead reading of polling ever. 70% of people say immigration's too much, and it hasn't. There's not less immigration. Well, it's a dictatorship. They own you. Kistar's taken over. The stormtroopers are coming. Dude, his voice is so fucking annoying too. God, it's just unbearable. This is one of the worst videos I've ever fucking seen. I watched a lot of NuxTaku content at this point. This is next level dog shit. It's crazy.
It's a dictatorship with flowers, okay? But it's a dictatorship. You have 70% of people saying that there's a problem and the problem is not being fixed. Not gonna lie, that's dictatorial. That's evil. It's not a democracy. They make believe it is, but it's not. But what is going on? How do we get so cooked? And why has this not been exposed earlier? Like, dude, how has this not been exposed earlier?
It was exposed 10 fucking years ago. Ew, dude.
Why can't we do it too?
It's actually been over a decade.
God damn, holy shit. That is crazy. Absolutely insane. Yeah, so anyway, Elon Musk, so Elon Musk is kind of under fire for this. So these guys had a whole debate talking about Elon Musk. So I think that this chapter looks pretty good.
But growing in momentum and support, and now suddenly out of nowhere, because he won't support this character, Tommy Robinson, who, by the way, I think Elon is wrong to support. Because he said that, Elon has immediately turned on him and said, right, in that case, he's the wrong guy to run reform. Do you feel comfortable with all this stuff that Elon's doing?
Well, Piers, just to go back to what...
Wait, is Piers actually being remotely critical of Elon? That's shocking to me, if that's the case. I'm going to speed this up as well. I'm getting sick of this.
Let's talk about other billionaires who donated to the Biden administration, the $200 million Zuckerbucks, the Soroses, the Bezoses. Listen, he spent $40-some billion so that people like me and people like you can speak freely about these problems, okay? And I think what he's doing, and I respect you, Piers, you know, the Tommy Robinson thing, people have mixed emotions.
Yeah, we actually shut down this moron? Dude, Piers surprises me sometimes. He is a fucking wretched snake, man, but I'm glad he actually puts his foot down on some shit.
Pointing out atrocities by a certain group of people doesn't make you racist.
Yeah, that's an insane line. Pointing out atrocities doesn't make you racist.
He hates Tommy Robinson for a different reason.
You can't let rapists get away with it because, oh, it might look racist if you call them out. Like, how absolutely insane do you have to be to have that take?
I have a little fact. So in Rotherham, and you know this, Rotherham alone.
Right, this is what someone in my chat was telling me about Rotherham controversy.
For estimated 1,400.
Who is this Tommy guy? This Tommy Robinson guy? Tommy is in jail because he kept reporting about this against court orders. Bro, there is no way they jailed a reporter instead of jailing rapists. What the fuck?
Children were subjected to abuse between the 80s.
His isn't bringing Destiny back. Is that true?
And 2013, 1,400. And why is it covered up? What's the purpose of hiding it? Because you don't want to say that the certain groups were Pakistani Muslim men. We have to say what it is.
Well, that is what happened. I mean, that is exactly what happened. There was a massive cover-up. It wasn't a cover-up by the mainstream media, though. To be accurate about this, it was the Times newspaper in the UK who burst the story.
Dude, and it was the newspaper that ended up exposing this shit, and it wasn't even the government. The government wanted to just keep it under the radar. They just wanted to keep it under the radar and keep importing more and more immigrants. I'm like, absolutely, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind that this is reality. Like, this is mind-bogglingly stupid. Holy shit.
They exposed it it originally at the start of 2011. Tommy Robinson then latched onto it, and he's not been wrong about the rape gangs at all. The problem is, I think in America, there is a belief amongst many Americans, the conservatives I've seen talking about this, that Tommy Robinson is currently in a British prison because he exposed the rape gangs. It's got nothing to do with why he's in prison.
Oh, okay, so never mind. Apparently dude had his own issues.
He's in prison for brazenly and repeatedly being in contempt of court.
Okay, that's a very different thing, for sure.
Over a young Syrian refugee boy who was bullied at school and lying about him.
Oh, all right, so again, valid. Sure. Again, I have no idea who this Tommy Robinson guy is. I'm not defending or co-signing anything here. But it's this concept of you're not allowed to speak out. Like the fact that Elon Musk went on this tirade altogether against these things, and the fact that he was under fire for that shit.
The biggest story of the last month, which is Elon Musk, who is putting himself at the center of pretty much every debate now, not just in America, but here in the UK, he's been on the assault all week on tweet storm after tweet storm.
Why not co-sign Tommy Robinson, Nux? What's the point? You're sitting there watching PJW videos completely uncritically. Why don't co-sign Tommy Robinson? Fuck it, man. It's not like you need information to make a decision here, clearly. You're going off of nothing. Fuck it. Support Tommy Robinson. Why not? Full send. I don't understand why stop here.
Demanding the Prime Minister be jailed.
Bro! Elon Musk doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. He went on a tweet storm trying to get them to put the Prime Minister in jail. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're living in the most insane world ever. He's just an incredibly famous rich man, and he's doing all this shit. He's not elected or anything. He doesn't actually have any power, but people listen to what he says. Holy shit.
That's not
having a previous Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, as well, according to the King.
Elections are the only way to get power in society now. Okay.
Charles III to dissolve Parliament, which is...
Oh my god, dude, Elon, what? What are you doing? Yes, because a monarchy will definitely be better than a fucking democracy. Democracy with an asterisk, obviously.
Can't actually do.
Nux might be one of the lowest IQ YouTubers who actually is brave enough to give his opinion on stuff. It's pretty impressive.
He's ill-informed, like the example I just gave. But some of it, his attack about the grooming gangs, the rape gang scandal, which has engulfed Britain now for many years, I think he's got a point. And he's certainly inflaming the debate to a point where there may be urgent national inquiry into what actually happened here, which is long overdue. But Elon Musk, he's gone from being this tech bro billionaire genius who does to
getting involved with governments.
Range of amazing things. So now he's Trump's right-hand guy. He's unelected, and he's now wanting to directly immerse himself into the politics of other countries. We saw it.
That's fucking insane. It's fucking insane what's happening. The world is changing for sure. We're living in a completely new ass world. People are trusting the governments less. They're trusting the politicians less. They're trusting the media less. They're trusting individuals more. It's crazy. It's crazy to see this happen. It's insane to see this happen. I say he has no power except for the fact that he's rich and famous, but ultimately that is power. This is wild for sure. And the irony is he's 100% right for exposing these people.
Yeah. So why did you say it no power then?
I'm not saying that everything he's doing, but we've gone from fake news world to clown world, and this is wild. This is absolutely wild.
In Germany last week, we're seeing it in the UK now and so on. Is this a good thing?
Yeah, he literally goes on with what the last guy says every time. If you just put a video in front of Nux, he consumes information from it, he just goes along with it. It's true. It's like actually watching like an insect, someone with the mind of a bug, like actual bug man, consume content. It's just purely stimulus reaction, and that's it. It's reflexive.
For Elon Musk, for Donald Trump, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think Elon Musk is a complicated character.
So anyway, if everyone in the world could definitely get involved in discussing on if Elon Musk is a good guy, is a bad guy, that's really not the point here. The fact that he literally just came out there and fucking exposed England, okay, dude, this isn't making exposed video on Mr. Beast, okay? Bro exposed England. That's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. Anyone that says that he's doing it for nefarious purposes, okay, what do I care? Oh, he was so nefarious with his reasonings as to why he's doing that. Bro, you guys are morons.
Why do I care about a hugely rich and influential person having nefarious reasoning for their actions when they're taking direct actions in your democracy? Huh? Yeah, you should fucking care about that, you stupid motherfucker. What is this guy even talking about?
So anyway, if everyone in the world could definitely get involved in discussing on if Elon Musk is a good guy, is a bad guy, that's really not the point here. The fact that he literally just came out there and fucking exposed England, okay, dude, this isn't making exposed video on Mr. Beast, okay? Bro exposed
England by just citing a bunch of stuff that was already looked into by England. You're a fucking idiot, dude.
England. That's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. Anyone that says that he's doing it for nefarious purposes, okay, what do I care? Oh, he was so nefarious with his reasonings as to why he's doing that. Bro, you guys are morons. Big picture, bro. Yeah, I think that there's so much more cookedness that's going on in the world than I think anyone ever expected.
They're putting Nux in a crystal. VTubers are going in crystals. When Peter Thiel takes over, Nux is going in a fucking crystal, man. He doesn't realize it yet. But he's going in a crystal and he's being dropped to the bottom of the fucking ocean. And I'll be laughing.
For me, the biggest twist is the fact that people are not willing to jail rapists because you might look like a racist, which is the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm gonna call this topic concluded. England is cooked. England is cooked, and somehow Elon Musk was involved in exposing them. You guys gotta get your priorities straight, right? This mega woke thing this is toxic. This is insane. I don't know what's happening, but I am absolutely here to get canceled for having an uninformed opinion on all of it. Yeah, that's right, baby. We are having a good deal of fun and paddling around in this fucking chaotic meatball.
Dude, like, just proud of being a complete retard. Just admit just say, I'm a fucking retard. Just make a whole video saying that you are fucking retarded, please. And then delete everything. Take an IQ test on stream. And his audience actually buys it. Nux, you'd better delete your channel if it's how you engage in serious topics. There are very well-written articles from your own news sources that detail events being discussed. Shows you falling for alt news propaganda and regurgitating full authority. It's just sad. Shows you haven't changed. It shows you haven't engaged with any of the fact situation. I wonder who that is. I've never seen this person before, but they're making a really good point. I wish Nux would delete his channel. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Oh my god.